Welcome to Quantum Revenue Expansion, where we share time-tested strategies to turn your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. Ready to up-level your business and your life? Then you will love listening in on the lively conversations Ursula has with her clients and guests as they share exactly what they did to grow and scale their business exponentially. Plus, you will discover how to experience more freedom, joy, and peace in your business and your life right now. If turning your annual income into your monthly income is your next step, then join us at the next 2X Intensive. Go to ursulainc.co/apply.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Quantum Revenue Expansion, the podcast where we talk about how to turn your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. Super excited to see you all, and thanks for hanging out. This is a solo show this week, and I have some updates and excited to connect with you as we roll into the end of summer here in the US. I don't know about you, but it's been like just another interesting year, right? Just another interesting year and a great year in many respects. Many of our clients are having their best year in business. We're going to have another breakthrough year in business, and we want that for you as well, no matter what's happening in the world. So today I'm super excited to talk about how working less can help you make more money. Yes, how working less can help you make more money. I can tell you for a fact that this is not something I believed when I started my business. And I have spent, no joke, hundreds of thousands of dollars figuring this out. And so that is what we do at Ursula Inc. We really help you, shorten your path to working less and making more, and whatever that might look like for you. So get out your pen, get out your paper. You're going to want to take some notes. I hope you take lots of notes today, and that some of these things you just implement immediately, because I know they can help you get results. Also, quick thing, if you haven't gotten our free gift yet, you can go to ursulainc.co, and on the homepage, you'll see Quantum Revenue Expansion, the masterclass, which pairs really well with the podcast. So if you haven't taken advantage of that yet, definitely do. It's a 3-part course. I talk about how to set up your quantum revenue container and what that really means, how to fine tune your pricing, because we often find that many of our clients are underpriced and can charge double what they've been charging. So we get your pricing and your marketing in alignment. And then the last day, we talk about how to scale your business and how to get to, your 2X or your 10X even faster, and how to collapse time. So again, go to ursulainc.co. It's free. It's a free course. And I think it will really help you push through to that next level, whatever that is for you. All right. And I also think today what we're going to talk about is going to help you push through to your next level, and that which is calling you. Here's the thing. I've been doing this a while. I've been doing this almost 20 years. I've definitely been in sales, marketing, executive management, all of those things for more than 20 years now. But in my own business as a coach, almost 20 years. And over and over again, what I see and what Rebekkah sees, we see people working really hard on things that don't move their business forward. And, it's kind of like, if you've ever just felt like, oh, I'm just doing a lot of busy work and I'm feeling stuck, that's what I'm talking about. And to me, it's unfortunate, because the other way is available to you. Working less and making more money is available to you too. It's not just available to certain people. And I'm positive that people who don't seem to work a lot, but seem to make a lot of money or live a great life. Now, some of it could be, kind of propped up by loans and other things. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people, and even maybe people you're like, they don't seem that smart to me. I get it. But they're killing it. They're killing it. And so it's not about like growing your business to multi-6 or 7 figures. It's not about being the smartest person. It's not about being a genius, although we see some geniuses who've done well in the world, but that's not what it's about. It's not about working all the time. And, it does require focused and intentional work, which to me is different than hard work. Hard work to me is baling hay when it's 110 degrees outside and then having to stand under a hot tin roof. Like growing up in a farm, that was hard work. Everything since then has not been hard work. It's been more up here. It's been, working on my mindset, working on strategy. It's been a lot of learning from other people, learning how they've done it so that I can, model what they've done, or just take that information that they have and implement in my own business or life. So that's what I'm sharing with you. I'm sharing with you today some tried and true strategies that will set you up to, work less and make more. A lot of our clients really, like when I look across the board, they want to work about 15 to 20 hours a week on average, and 2x their revenue, and then 2x it again. And they really want to scale. So they want to add team members. So they actually start working less and less. And when they show up in our world, they're typically working 50 to, I don't know, like one client was working 100 hours a week. He's now working 40, and he thinks he thinks it's the greatest thing in the world, because he went from working 100 hours to 40 hours, and he's grown a 7-figure business. So it's different for everyone. I find that a lot of our parents, if you're a parent and you have kiddos, or if you're a child of parents who need care, you find that you can only work about 20 hours a week. So or that's ideal for you to also have, to be able to do other things in your life that you enjoy, and actually, have hobbies and friends and do other things. So, this is pretty much for everyone. Like if you have a business and you just think, gosh, I work all the time, this is definitely for you. So I'm gonna give you 5 strategies, 5 things that, in this order, it's easiest to implement them. And when you do this, it'll help you start to move to that place where you can be working less and, making however much money you desire. All right. So the first strategy is going to sound obvious, and you've probably heard me talk about this before, and yet it's the one thing that I feel like most people are missing, and that is a focused and clear plan. You have it, making the decision to 2x your sales or 10x your revenue and work less, once you've made that decision, really forces you to create a plan, because it's like, well, how am I going to do that, right? And so the step before this strategy is to decide. Like, you're here, so I'm guessing that you're listening to this, that's what you want. You got to make the decision. The root of the word decide means to close the doors on everything else. It's like, I'm making the decision, I'm all in, no matter what, I'm going to get to that next level and I'm going to work less. Like, I've made the decision. Once you made the decision, then you got to get strategic. It's like, all right, well, how am I going to do that? Like, what does that look like? What is my revenue model? And this piece, a lot of people will push back on it and go like, I don't like the numbers, I want to focus on the numbers. But this, without a clear plan, it's really hard to get there. And the other thing that a clear plan does, and when I say clear plan, a clear financial plan in terms of projections, a clear financial plan creates the map to get there. It also subconsciously is in your brain. Like, once you create a stretch revenue model and projections, it's in your brain and it's in your subconscious, and you start to work from that place. Like, subconsciously, you're just working from that goal rather than what you have been working on. And this is where a lot of people don't realize this. So what Rebekah and I see is that often, let's say someone has done 250,000, they set their next year's goal at like maybe 280 or 300. So it's just barely a bigger goal. They create their revenue model around that, but their heart's desire, what they really want is, maybe $500,000 or even 7 figures. But because that's not the plan they create, then that's not what they get. So do you see there's this disconnect? So you make the decision, get all in, and then create a projection or a revenue model where you get super clear on what it's like to get there, what's that going to look like. And one of the things we do with our clients is we create a model month template for their first 2x. So sometimes it's hard to think, okay, what would a year look like? But if you could just create your next month, then it's like, oh, I see how I can get there. I start to see the path, and then you can build from there. So if a year seems overwhelming, just start with your month, right? Like, if you 2x, if you double your revenue, what is that dollar amount and how does it start to break down? Okay. So having that, once you make the decision, again, you got to get clear on your projection, your revenue model, and at least your month for what you want to create. By the way, for some of you have been hanging out in our world for a while. You've been hanging out on the podcast, and maybe, maybe you've been thinking, I'd like to do more. I'd like to learn more about what Ursula's up to and what they're doing with their clients. We have a way for you to do that. I meant to mention this on the front end as well, but we do have an event called Scale to 7. So if you're a business owner who's around, 6 figures, or maybe you're even at multi 6 figures, and you want to get to 7 figures and you want to build a plan to do that, Scale to 7 is our signature event. It's complimentary, but it's complimentary only for 30 people. So the first 30 who register get these seats, and I'll have this in the show notes. You just go to Scale to 7, scale the number 2, the number 7.com, scale27.com. And also the first 20 get a copy of my book, Selling with Synchronicity. It's a digital copy. It gets delivered to you right away. The content, we've heard from clients, the content in this course is off the charts, because this is what we do. We're going to do like what I'm talking about today. We're going to do it with you together. We're going to help you find your unique formula to get to your multi 6 or 7 figures. So if this is speaking to you, definitely go to Scale to 7, grab your spot. I meant to mention that on the front end, just to make sure that you get that space for you. All right. So that was strategy number 1, get the clear plan. Strategy number 2, by having the clear plan, you become strategically, you just become more intentional and more focused. And all of a sudden your marketing has a clear plan, right? So when you have even a month, like when you have a month planned out, you say, all right, I've been at 20,000 a month for a while. I'm going to be at 40,000 a month. And that's that first month that you create. Well, that tells you everything. When I can look at someone's model month template and what they want to create next, I can see very quickly like what's working, what's not working, what they need to shift. And then we can see the fastest and easiest way to market to get there. The other thing it shows us, right, when you start to build your marketing and sales plan from your revenue model, is if you need to raise your prices, if you need to change your packages, if you need to even change your model. Like we've had clients who are like, what they've been doing isn't scalable. For example, maybe they're selling, if they're a healer, they're selling sessions by the hour rather than, packages. I mean, you can't scale by the hour, nor does an hourly session to me typically help someone in a healing or coaching situation, because we help them start to build out those packages that are more scalable. So we just start to see the holes that are in the business. The plan starts to reveal itself. So again, the first strategy, get clear on your revenue plan. Second, start to look at your marketing plan. What do I need to shift in terms of my marketing, my pricing, my ideal clients? Like all of that starts to come out. And we could talk all day about that process, but some things to be looking for that you can implement immediately. To ask yourself, am I priced correctly? Am I priced correctly? If you don't know how to price yourself correctly, definitely come to Scale to 7. The Scale to 7 are a free event, because we'll help you really break it down and explain, like each industry is a little different in terms of pricing. So the best and fastest way to do that, look at your marketing. Is my marketing working? And then underneath all of that, am I selling to my ideal client? Do I even like the client that I'm selling to anymore? Because we often see that once you start to get those two pieces clear, then there could be maybe a breakdown in who you've been marketing to and who your ideal client is or isn't. All right, so we talked about the revenue model, right? We've talked about your pricing, your marketing, your ideal clients, and really fine-tuning that. And the third strategy is, by working less, it pushes you to delegate a lot more. And this is where the whole working less piece comes in. Think about the last time you went on vacation and the amount of work you got done that day before you left for vacation, okay? This is where the schedule and delegation starts to come in. When you shrink your schedule, and maybe, let's say, for example, if you're only going to work 20 hours a week, maybe you're only going to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe part of Friday. Let's just imagine that, right? So that next step before you delegate is to get get really clear on that schedule, really break it down so you can see it. Once you've compressed your time, it's going to force you to delegate, which is exactly what we want and what a lot of people push back on. But you can't scale the business. You can't make more, work less without a team that supports you. Does it have to be a big team? A lot of limiting beliefs around how big does my team have to be? It doesn't. It doesn't have to be a big team at all. It could be one person. It could be that you're just delegating to the virtual assistant you already have more. We see that often when we meet new clients. It's like they already have some team members. They're just not delegating enough to them, right? Because we can hold on to things. We can, hold on to things that we don't believe other people can do well enough, or we're afraid that if we hand certain things over that our clients will be unhappy. We make up all kinds of stories. But the truth is, once you shrink your time, right, and decide when you want to work, and you start to delegate more, it does get easier. You start to feel the freedom in the delegation. Rebekkah, who many of you met, she's a master coach here at Ursula Inc. She has coached thousands of business owners. She's coached me, I've coached her. We work so well together. She's so fun to work with and to coach our clients with. One of the things she talks about is what she calls her signature 720 plan. And the 720 plan helps you map out your entire month. So not just your work week, but what are you going to do outside of work? And we find that that's another little issue for a lot of entrepreneurs, is they have no idea. They're so used to working that they have no idea what they would do with their time. And so again, she helps our clients shrink how much they're in their business, which kind of forces all these other things like delegation to happen. But also they start to live these amazing lives. They start to do all these other things they wanted to do for a long time. So as we talk about this, it's, shrinking time and delegating. It's not just so that you can work less. It's like, well, what are you going to do with that time when you do work less? So it's moving it together, shrinking the time you're available, delegating more to your team, and growing your business. Like this is where, inside of this also, by going through this process, it starts to bust through all those old beliefs that you might have, or that people gave you about, I have to work all the time, or if I'm not working, or feeling guilty for not working. Like, believe me, as I share these things, I have felt all of them. And those are all lies. Like, those are all lies. You can work as little or as much as you want. You can, choose to, you can choose to do all those other things you've been dreaming about. And sometimes that does take work. Like, it takes work to really pause and start to think about, like, how do I want to spend my time? And for some of us, we love working. Like, one of my coaches challenged me. She's like, because I was looking at, what are my other hobbies? Should I take up knitting? I don't like knitting. Like, doesn't call to me. It calls to other people. It doesn't call to me. Like, I felt like there was just this hobby that I was missing out on. And as I explored this more, she's like, well, what lights you up? Real estate, like a lot of things related to investing and buying real estate, selling real estate. Like, that's fun for me. That's fun. That's a hobby, and it's also a lot of fun, and it also brings income in to my life. But I had to stop and say, how will I spend my time? So I'm just encouraging you, as you start to create your ideal schedule, and you shrink how much time you're working, right? Then, and you start to delegate more, it opens up this whole other world that you might have forgotten about for a little bit. If I didn't mention this yet, I think I talked about it at a high level, but from the beginning, start to dream about when you want to be working and when you don't want to be working. And we have a lot of clients, especially parents, who have like a 10 to 2 schedule. They just choose it, and they probably don't work Fridays. It's like a Monday to Thursday, 10 to 2, so they can drop their kids off at school and pick them up. And then inside of that time frame, they're just very systematized. They're very regimented. They're very disciplined in terms of what has to get done, what has to get delegated. And over time, because they build systems and processes and they delegate, they start working less and less. But by creating that container of time and shrinking your availability, it does force all these other things to happen. All right. Once these pieces are in place, you have your ideal schedule built, you have your plan, your financial plan, your marketing plan, you know, you're working less, selling more, making more because you created a bigger container. By the way, just by doing that, by saying I want to go from 20,000 to 40,000 and building a plan, that is how you open the door to the next level. Most people don't know that, but that is how, from a, you know, if you want to say a quantum perspective, a metaphysical, a spiritual perspective, or just a business perspective, because to me, those all run the same gamut, you open up that space and things will start to shift, right? And that's why we started with that. You've got to have that plan, and then it starts to open up. Once that money starts to move through, then you want to have a plan for your money. This is a little bit about what I was already touching on. What we've noticed over the years is that when we, myself, Rebekkah, or our clients have a clear plan for where they want their money to go, more money tends to show up and flow through the business. Money doesn't like to be stagnant. It doesn't like to just sit. So the next strategy is to have a, you know, the fourth strategy is to have a clear plan for your money. Tell your money where you want it to go, and it'll show up. More will show up. And so if you've never done that, like this, it's a powerful thing to do, to be thinking like, where do I want that money to go? Where do we want that money to end up? And it could be, you know, in my case, I like to think about where I'm going to invest the money. It could be real estate. It could be other businesses. It could be passive income streams that you're creating. It could be anything. It could be fun things like vehicles, you know, a new house, private school for your kids, a vacation. Like it could be a million things. But start to make a list of where you want your money to go. What really is your dream? And if you feel stuck with that, I definitely recommend my book, One Great Goal. You can get it on Amazon for, I think, like $3. So it's not a big money maker for us, but it's definitely a tool that helps a lot of our clients. So if you haven't read One Great Goal yet, definitely get that book. It'll help you get clarity, help you figure out like maybe where you want some of that money to go, or kind of what the bigger plan is for yourself. Strategy number five is to recognize and to dive into your own unique formula, really create your own unique formula. Because each one of you who's listening has a very specific formula that's different. Like everybody has a unique thumbprint. We have unique fingerprints. So is the formula for your business. And so if you felt stuck, I often find that people feel really stuck because they're modeling someone else's business to a T, and they think it has to look exactly like that. And then they get stuck, or sometimes we might be modeling someone else's marketing. It's just not working for us, or we sound like somebody else. It's not working for us. And so you need to figure out like your unique formula, create your own unique formula to get to that next level. And it happens by the steps that we talked about, right? By creating your plan, by creating your intentional schedule and starting to delegate more, right? By creating that plan for your money. All of those things work together so that you can discover your unique, super unique plan formula that gets you to your multi-6 or 7 figures. And as I mentioned earlier, if you want more support with this, I just want to encourage you to get registered. Register for Scale to 7. It's happening on September 8th, and we're opening it up to 30 CEOs. And once it's filled, it's filled. And it's truly for those clients, those CEOs like you, who maybe are at around 6 figures. You want to get to multi-6 or 7 figures, or maybe you've been at multi-6 figures for a while. You want to scale to 7 figures. You're not sure how. We would love to support you. It's it ends up being about a 2-hour event. You get private support during the time. Like, we love to do laser coaching. So that's why we keep it small, so we can focus on the businesses who are in there. So I'd love to see you there. It's a great way to get to know us more and to come and hang out. All right, everybody. And quick note for, as we roll into the end of summer here in the Midwest, we have a couple weeks left. Oh, I can't even believe I'm saying that. A couple weeks left before school is out. So my family and some friends, we're going to be taking a little road trip, and I decided, and this is an interesting thing that ties perfectly to time. I decided that we were going to scale back on the podcast just as we roll into the first part of September. And so I'm just going to do 2 shows a month for a couple months, and with still bringing high quality content that we're always bringing you and wanting to support you, but just a couple less shows. And then, we'll go back to a fuller schedule. But because of summer and just because of all the things that are going on in my business right now, we're just going to scale back for a little bit. And it's really scaling back so that we can grow again. Me taking a little time off, giving my team a little bit of a break so that we can, really have as extraordinary of a fall as I know we will, and we can really support our clients at the highest level. All right, everybody, that's it for this week. I hope you are having an epic month, an epic year, and I hope to see you at Scale to 7. You can go to scale to7.com. See you soon.
Thank you for joining us today. And if you are ready to make your next quantum leap, let's do it. Ursula invites you to join us at the 2X Intensive. Go to salescoachnow.com/apply. Don't forget to leave us a review on your favorite podcast app.